Hi, I'm Micah Clark with the American Family Association of Indiana. Appreciate you joining us again for this quick Friday video. It's our legislative video we do every Friday. This time I'm going to talk about a couple issues that I did not mention in our Wednesday email. But before I do, I want to tell you a quick story. Some years ago, I got a call from a mom who was upset about a billboard in Indianapolis along 465, which is the big loop around the city. There were several large billboards from a radio station that were rather offensive. They were a cartoon caricature of a bunch of women in bikinis with a slogan that pointed towards their breasts. And the mom said, I can pick and choose whether or not I listen to the radio station, but when I'm taking my kids to school or we're going to the airport or going shopping, they're a captive audience. They see that, and I think this is inappropriate. I agreed with her and said, why don't you call the Billboard Company, take a note of who owns the billboard at the bottom of the board, and give them a call. So I got a couple other calls about that, and a few days later I decided I'll call the Billboard Company myself too. I called the company, and the president asked me to come tour the company and see how billboards were made and talk about this. I had a wonderful tour. I was a little surprised. The man who I met with was probably only in his 40s. He told me he had young kids. I didn't think we were going to get anywhere because I found out later, before I went to the meeting, I realized that this billboard company actually owned the radio station. So there's no way they're going to change this. This is the right hand and the left hand working together. But I got about halfway through the tour, and he said, when I saw that ad, I knew it was really on the edge. And I thought, if I get phone calls about this, I'll pull this. He said, so he pulled the ad, and the radio station had to put up slicks on the billboards for these other companies. And I've bought billboards before. Many times those aren't cheap. Probably cost the station several $1,000s. But so I wrote a story about it in our newsletter about the importance of contacting people and letting your thoughts known, and the success we had with removing this offensive billboard in Indianapolis. What I never told people, I'm telling you now, is that ad was pulled because 11 people made a phone call. So if you're reading my emails each week or you're watching these videos and you think, maybe I'll call on the bill, maybe I won't call on this issue, only a few phone calls can make a difference. And in that case, it certainly did. And I've seen times in the legislature where just a couple phone calls on one day to a legislator can make a big difference. We have a blessing as Americans, as Hoosiers, that we can contact our legislators, we can make our opinions known. People around the world in many countries can't do that. We have a great form of government, and it's a good duty that we have to be active in our civic involvement. Well, I want to talk to you about civic involvement a little bit. There's two bills that are coming up for hearing this week. The first one is Monday morning in the Senate Elections Committee. Senate Bill 188, authored by Senator Jack Sandlin, is a bill dealing with school board elections in the Senate Election Committee, but it's school board elections. What the bill simply does is it requires school board members to declare whether they are Republican, Democrat, or Independent when they run for office. School boards are the only office, if you've noticed, on your ballot that is not identified by party. Even a coroner who has to run as either Republican or Democrat. I don't know that Republicans and Democrats look at dead bodies differently, but that for some reason that low office, important office, but a lower office is political. All offices are political. And if you don't think school boards are political, trust me, they're very political. Maybe they shouldn't be, but they are. You have both sides lining up in school board races. You've got groups interviewing candidates. You've got groups spending money and doing mailings for candidates on the school board. It's a political election. What this bill would simply do for voters is it would at least give you a little bit of information, perhaps about the worldview of that school board member if they had to say whether they are Republican or Democrat. To do that, they would have to vote in a primary to have a voting record of their view or their party identification. So I think it's an important bill. That's Senate Bill 188. In the House, now this is a hot issue. On Wednesday in the Elections Committee, a very similar bill, 1428, House Bill 1428, House Election Committee. Now I don't have the room number for that yet. It's not been posted. It'll probably be in the morning, but I don't know the time yet either. But you can still call on House Bill 1428. and ask your legislator to support this bill, which also requires school board candidates to declare a party affiliation when they run. The purpose of the bill is not to politicize schools. As you know, schools are already somewhat political. It's to let the voter know. Each year we do, each election cycle, we do voters' guides. And we work with a company that does this. And I always get questions from people about judges and school board races because people just don't seem to know because there's not a lot of information out there about school boards. And we'd love to survey school boards and find out where school board candidates run, but we simply don't have the manpower. There are 1,100 school board seats in Indiana. It takes a ton to survey 1,100 candidates. Surveying 100 House candidates takes a lot of work. It would be impossible for us to do that with school board members. So this would at least give voters some kind of indication of the philosophy and the worldview, perhaps, of a candidate, at least if you know what party they affiliate with and what those parties stand for. So Senate Bill 188 is up at 9 a.m. in room 233 in the Senate this Monday. You can call Monday, you can leave a message for your legislator over the weekend. You can call today. House Bill 1428, you have a little bit more time. I believe the hearing is going to be Wednesday in the House Election Committee. Same type of bill, requires school board candidates to simply identify whether they are Republican, Democrat, or Independent or Libertarian when they run. So both those bills I think would be something beneficial for Hoosiers to know where their school board candidates at least stand in their political worldview. So I hope that's helpful. At the bottom, we will have links to where you can find your legislator at the Indiana General Assembly website on the Find Your Legislator link. You enter your address. It'll tell you who your members are and how to contact them directly by phone and by email. But if you know your legislator already, the Senate number is 317-232-9400. The House number is 317-232-9600 for House Bill 1428. But that'll put you through the switchboard. It's probably faster and easier if you go to the website, find out exactly who your legislator is, make a call to their desk. You'll probably get their voicemail. You may get a legislative assistant, or you may get the legislator themselves. Obviously, it'd be nice. Simply ask them to support Senate Bill 188 or House Bill 1428 or any number of other bills we've mentioned. It's not the time to unload on them, to tell them everything you think about them or politics in general. Simply let them know you care about a bill and how you'd like them to vote. So thank you for joining us this week. Please read our email coming out Wednesday. We'll have more information on various bills. And then I'll be back with you, Lord willing, next Friday. Again, I'm Micah Clark. Thank you for joining us.